Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Today I'm doing a full in-depth review of my Ochstin field watch. Now I bought the green variation of this watch, but it also comes in black, grey and blue, and it has a few different variations in regards to what colour the markings are on the dial as well. Now I bought this watch when it was on sale at AliExpress for about $31 Australian. It normally retails for about $38 Australian. So it wasn't really much of a discount, but it was enough that I thought that's a bit of a cheap watch. It's got a field watch look to it. I quite like that. Now when you actually look at the advertisement for this watch, it's not very well described. It mentions quartz a few times. It then mentions that it's an automatic. It mentions that it's a very high quality automatic. I'm not really sure about that, but I can certainly say that it is an automatic watch. But let's flip the camera around and I'm going to give you a full review of this watch. So this is my Ochstin GA62028. It comes with this very simple box. There's nothing too special about it. As you can see, it got a little bit squished in the postage, but it certainly protected the watch and did what it needed it to do. Inside the box, we have a very basic manual. As you can see, it's a very basic fold-out style piece of paper in English and Chinese. Nothing too special, but it does what you need it to do. And under here you'll see that I bought the green variant. It has the green strap, the green dial, and the white numbers and indices. Now this comes with a 42mm case diameter. It is 13mm wide. It is 49mm lug to lug. Has a 22mm lug width, and on this supplied leather type strap, it weighs in at 71 grams. There is a flat piece of mineral crystal covering this simple but very interesting dial. The dial appears to be one solid piece of moulded plastic with a rough sand type finish on it, and with all the markings and numbers and all those indices sort of moulded in and raised up. You'll see the 12, 6 and 9 are larger, with those 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 and 11 being a little bit smaller. There is an upside down triangle above the 12, larger indices at the hour mark and small indices at the minute track. And as you can probably see, as I mentioned, those numbers and those indices are all raised, but they're all part of that one moulding. That also then extends to those two words, the Ochstin brand and automatic. Ochstin seems to be raised on like a rectangular square, whereas the automatic is actually around the actual letters. There is a date complication at the 3 o'clock. The date window again is sort of moulded into that plastic dial. The minute and hour hands have polished outer surrounds with lume within, and we have that nice simple polished second hand which pushes out to the minute track but not beyond. The rather simple crown, which is unsigned, is located at the 3 o'clock. It has hand winding, and it also has hacking. The case is some sort of plated alloy with a very light brushing around that bezel and on the top of those lugs. On the rest appears to be this polished type plated surface material. It's nothing too special, but at this price I'm not expecting too much from it, and it certainly looks and feels okay. On the back you'll see a see-through case back with this unknown Chinese movement, but it certainly sort of feels a little bit like a Miyota with that little one directional spinning rotor there. It has a screw down case back with those details, as you can see: Ochstin, 22 joules, stainless steel, 3 atmospheres, so 30 meters of water resistance, and the model number there, 62028. This is one of those genuine leather straps where only this little thin piece of black is probably actually leather. The rest of it seems to be made of this strange felt type material, and as you can see, these color distortions have just occurred whilst using the watch and handling it. That sort of felt material absorbs a bit of that oil from your skin. It is quite a poor quality strap, and it's something that if you bought this watch you would want to replace. However, the buckle and tang are actually quite good. They're in this polished finish Ochstin logo, and it feels quite nice and solid and thick. And here's what it looks like on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think it actually fits me quite well. I certainly wouldn't want it any bigger. However, it's a nice size and styled watch. Because of the size and the style of the watch, it feels quite big, the dial, because it takes up the majority of the watch. Although this strap is not very good, it certainly works and is functional. It feels like it fits to my wrist quite well. It does sit up a little bit, these tops of these lugs, because it's relatively flat, but it's certainly comfortable on wrist. But let's have a look at this unknown movement on the time grapher and see how it performs. For around a $30 Australian watch, I think those figures aren't too bad. As you can see, it's a 21,600 vibrations. It has a fairly low beat error, well and truly fine, a very healthy amplitude, and it sits around the plus 20 seconds, which is a little bit high, but for an unknown Chinese movement, really I wouldn't expect much better, and you can get those sort of figures out of much better, much more expensive watches. I have to say, especially keeping that low cost price in mind, it's a pretty good watch, and I really like how they've done that dial. I know it's probably just a cheap way of manufacturing a dial with that molded plastic, but what they've achieved with it is a very interesting pattern, and it's given that really 3D applied look with all those numbers. Overall, very nice. It certainly would be nicer if this was in a stainless steel case and perhaps having a better movement in it, but again, for that price, I wouldn't expect much better. And that strap is definitely pretty terrible, and if I was going to keep this watch, I'll definitely be replacing it. So if you are considering buying this, do keep that in mind, or perhaps even order a new strap as you order this watch. But let's flip this around, get back to me, and I'm going to give you some final thoughts about this little cheap field watch. So when you keep in mind how little I actually paid for this fully automatic hacking hand winding movement watch, I think it's actually rather good. It's got a very interesting dial to it, which I quite like. It's a field watch, and it was $30 Australian. It does, however, need a replacement strap. The one that came with it is certainly functional, but it's not particularly nice. And I have to say, when I did buy it, I was looking for a cheaper field watch. I quite like the field watch looking aesthetics. However, I sort of know that it's not a watch that I'll end up wearing a lot, because I do end up wearing dive watches a lot more. So I thought, what about getting a field looking watch at quite a low budget price? Perhaps it might fill that need for me to have a field watch without really spending too much money. So if you're also wanting a field watch in your collection, but you don't really want to spend a lot of money, this is certainly something you should consider. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope that if you are somewhat interested in this watch, that it's helped you out a little bit. I have to say, I quite like it. I'm probably going to keep it around for a while, maybe switch it out with a few different straps and see what it's like. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.